Jai Hind Future Warriors. I am Shrikant Godke, your polity mentor, and today I am bringing you the lecture on Introduction to the Constitution of India. Before starting with today's topic, let's have a quick recap of what did we discuss in our previous session. In our previous class, we have studied what is Constitution. We have seen what is the nature of Indian Constitution. After that, we have covered the overview of Indian Constitution. Then we have also seen what is present in our Indian Constitution. We have also covered the preface, that is the preamble of our Indian Constitution. Okay, besides this, I have also covered what are the forms of government, the parliamentary, the presidential, also known as federal and unitary government. Okay, and also I have given you many such examples which will clear your basics, and I hope by now your basics are clear. You all are done with your basics. So today let's get into the subject. I will be starting today with articles, article 1 to 4, the part 1 of our Indian Constitution. Before starting with articles, let me tell you what are schedules, what are parts, and what are articles. Okay, schedules, they are basically lists which categorize items selected to the constitutional matters. Okay, and today we have total 12 schedules in our Indian Constitution. Okay, but originally the Indian Constitution, it was divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules, but today we have 25 parts and 12 schedules and more than 400 articles. Initially there were only 395 articles which were divided in 22 parts and 8 schedules. Okay, so what are parts now? What do you understand by parts? Parts, they are nothing but parts, they comprise articles. Okay, like if think if each and every article is individual, it is independent, you can't memorize them properly. Only if you know which articles fall in which part, then you can study the definition of that particular part, and then you can start with all the articles that are mentioned in that part. Okay, so today we'll be starting with part 1 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with territory of India, formation of new states, alteration of names, and areas of existing states. Okay, today I'll be starting with part 1 of our Indian Constitution. Okay, now this part 1 of our Indian Constitution, it covers article 1 to 4, and the definition is written here. Okay, part 1, it covers from article 1 to 4. We'll be dealing with article 1 to article 4 of our Indian Constitution in our today's session. Okay, yes, so let's begin with article 1. What is article 1 basically? Article 1 of our Indian Constitution, it deals with the name of territory of the Union. It describes India, that is Bharat, as Union of States. The territory of India includes territories of states, union territories, and territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any time. Okay, so basically article 1 of our Indian Constitution, it simply describes India, that is Bharat, as a union of states. Okay, now what do you understand by union of states? See, for example, see what happened was, during the debates in Constituent Assembly after post-independence from 1947 to 1950, during this time period, there was a debate in the Constituent Assembly. What was the debate about? The debate was about that what should be the name of our country. Okay, few people of the Constituent Assembly, they wanted the name as India. Okay, for few people, they suggested that our country's name should be Bharat. Few people wanted it to be Hindustan. Okay, some people, they also wanted it to be Union of Indian Socialist Republic. Okay, some people wanted it to be Union of Sovereign Socialist Bharat. Okay, so there were different names. Okay, and from different names, there started different arguments for it. Okay, finally, the makers of Indian Constitution, they said that we can all call our country as India along with Bharat. Okay, this was the name which was decided because they did not want to communalize or categorize anything. Okay, so they settled with India along with Bharat. Okay, see, even after independence, a lot of people wanted to change the name. Okay, recently, if you are thorough with the current affairs, in June there was a petition filed in Supreme Court. One person filed a PIL in Supreme Court that he wants our country's name to change from India to Hindustan. Okay, this happened in June. Okay, this is one recent case. Also, what happened in 2015 is there was a person from Maharashtra who filed a public interest litigation in Supreme Court. PIL, public interest litigation in Supreme Court. Okay, now this PIL, it can be filed by any person in Supreme Court only for the development or the larger interest of the society. Okay, now this person from Maharashtra, he appealed to the Supreme Court that let's call our country as Bharat, because India is a name which we have derived from the Britishers. Okay, getting my point? This was his argument. But Supreme Court, it rejected his PIL in 2016, stating that don't come to us with such, emotional ideas. Okay, because what is the primary aim of public interest litigation? What is the primary aim to file a PIL? It is only for the development of our country or only for the larger interest of society. Okay, you should use PIL for the poor and unprivileged, to bring justice to the poor and unprivileged. Okay, but this person who filed a PIL to change our country's name, his plea was rejected. Now see, in 2015, he filed a PIL and the verdict was delivered in 2016. Okay, this is due procedure of law which we have adopted from Japan. What is due procedure of law? Due procedure of law, it simply means that suppose if you are filing a PIL in Supreme Court today, it is not necessary that Supreme Court will deliver a verdict on that same day. Okay, getting my point? Okay, let's not get there. Let's stick with Article 1 only. Okay, so this happened in 2015, and in 2016 Supreme Court, it delivered its verdict that whatever PIL you have filed, it is invalid. Okay, because you are using your personal feelings here. Okay, if you want, you can call our country as India or as Bharat. Few people call it as India, they call it as Bharat, they call it as Hindustan. Okay, so we cannot make a law for it. Okay, this was the verdict which was delivered by Supreme Court of India in 2016. Okay, so both India along with Bharat, this is the reason it is written that India along with Bharat shall forever remain Union of States. Okay, both India and Bharat, they are written in our Indian Constitution. Okay, now what do you understand by Union of States? What is a Union of States? See, once Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he said that the Indian Federation is a union. Okay, it is not result of an agreement between states. Okay, to justify this statement, I'll give you one example. This example is about North America. Let's take an example of North America. Okay, see, there was a time when North America, it was divided into different states. Okay, and these states were under the colonizers. Like they were under the control of British and French. British and French, they ruled North America. Okay, now what happened? There were long protests. There were long revolts. Okay, and after the revolts, North America, it got independence. Okay, after independence, what happened? 13 states from America, they sat together and they decided to merge. Okay, and that resulted in the formation of United States of America. The USA, it is a result of combination of 13 states. Okay, the formation of USA, it is an agreement between 13 states. 13 states, they sat together and they formed a constitution. Okay, but when we take the situation of India, it is different. Our country, it is not formed based on any meeting or based on any agreement. Our country, it is formed by unity in itself. Okay, the Constitution of India, it is not a result of any convention. We have followed the division of powers for center and state, but only for the administration purpose, only for administrative convenience. Okay, it is not any combination, or it is not formed by any combination or any meeting. Okay, see, no state it can go away from India, no state it can secede from India, but it is possible in USA. Okay, because USA, it is a result of an agreement, it is formed based on an agreement. Okay, so this is what you understand by union of states. Okay, India is a union of states and not a federation. Okay, obviously we follow the federal governance, but it is only for the administration convenience. Okay, and I told you in a previous session that federal term, it is nowhere written in our Indian constitution. We only refer this to understand the concept. Okay, so we have this federal structure of governance so that the center and the state, it can function independently, and the diversity, it can be accommodated. Okay, see, in India, people have different religion. Okay, people, they follow different ethnicity, people, they follow different languages, right? So for such reasons, we have followed the federal approach. Okay, what is federal approach? Nothing but the federal governance in India. Okay, but not the federation. Let me make this clear. Not the federation, just the federal governance. Okay, now according to this Article 1 of our Indian Constitution, territories of India, it can be classified into three types. What are they? What are they? Territories of state. Second one is union states. And the third one is territories which may be acquired by the government at any point. Okay, it simply means that territories of India, they include union territories, they include states, and they include territories which can be acquired by India at any point. Okay, these are the three categories. Okay, getting my point? This is Article 1 of our Indian Constitution, which simply means India, that is Bharat, shall forever remain union of states. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now, let's move forward to Article 2 of our Indian Constitution. What is Article 2? What is the definition of Article 2? Admission or establishment of new states. Okay, Article 2 of our Indian Constitution, it simply means that it simply grants the power to the Parliament to admit any new states into Union of India. Okay, and also it gives power to establish new state. What do you understand by this? It means that you can take territory of any foreign country, you can take land from any foreign country and can form a new state in India. Okay, and can also establish new states by dividing one particular state. Okay, so all of this, it can be done by the Parliament by Article 2 of our Indian Constitution. The legislature, it has the power to do this. Okay, let's understand this Article 2 with an example. I'll give you an example. What is example? What are the examples about? The example is about Sikkim and also about Pondicherry. I'll tell you what happened in Sikkim and what happened in Pondicherry. Okay, Sikkim, what happened in Sikkim was, see, this Sikkim, initially Sikkim was ruled by hereditary monarch. Who is hereditary monarch? Okay, hereditary monarch means someone who is from ancient time who ruled Sikkim. Okay, this is what you understand by hereditary monarch. Okay, and this hereditary monarch, their name was Chogyas. Chogyas was a tribe. Okay, and Chogyas used to rule Sikkim even after independence. Okay, what was India's role? What was India's role? India's role was simply of protectorate. What is protectorate? I'll tell you in detail, don't worry. India's role was to protect Sikkim. Protection in what ways? Militarily and diplomatically. Okay, India, it protected Sikkim against any foreign invasion. Okay, and both militarily and diplomatically. That means Sikkim was under protection of India. Okay, protection, that is administratively, okay, or militarily or diplomatically. This is known as protectorate, and Sikkim, it was ruled by Chogyas. Administratively, it was ruled by Chogyas. India used to provide support as militarily and diplomatically to Sikkim. Okay, now what happened in early 1970s? Protests took place in Sikkim. Okay, people of Sikkim, they wanted to join India. Okay, pro-India slogans were started. Okay, then what happened next? There was an agreement. What was the agreement about? There was an agreement that elections will be held. Okay, elections will be held, and based on the results of election, they will decide that whether Chogyas will rule Sikkim or will Sikkim be included in Union of India. Okay, so in 1973, in the year 1973, elections were held, and Sikkim National Congress, it won the election in 1973. Okay, the first thing after the results of elections, the first thing that happened was they abolished Chogyas. Okay, and a lot of politics took place, discussions were held. Now Sikkim had two choices, whether to join India or to remain as an independent, and merge as a separate country. It had the choice because Chogyas were abolished. Okay, obviously elections were held, and in the results Sikkim National Congress won the elections, but it had two choices, whether to be a state in India or to remain independent. Okay, so after a lot of discussions, okay, the outcome it came. What was the outcome? Was majority of people, they voted to join India. So finally what happened? Sikkim, it became the 22nd state of India in the year 1974. Okay, so the parliament, it has the power to admit any new state, okay, or any union territory into India. This can be done by Article 2 of our Indian Constitution. Okay, this is one example. Sikkim is one example. And the another example is about Pondicherry. Okay, Pondicherry. Another example is about Pondicherry. Let's discuss what happened in Pondicherry. Okay, Pondicherry, it comprises of 4 territories. Okay, what are the 4 territories? Mahi, Kerikal, Yanam and Pondicherry. Okay, all these 4 territories come together and they form Pondicherry. Okay, this Pondicherry, it was with the French government even after independence. Okay, even after independence, the Pondicherry, it was ruled by French government. Okay, the French ruled it. But people of Pondicherry, they wanted to join India. Okay, so there was an agreement between Indian government and the French government in the year 1956. Proposal, okay, Indian government, it proposed to the French government, okay, that to, what do you say, to leave Pondicherry administratively, so that our Indian government, it can include Pondicherry as a union territory in India. Okay, so Treaty of Secession, this is known as Treaty of Secession, please note it down. Then it was decided in 1956, Indian government proposed to the French government. Okay, so then later it was decided that the territory, it will be given to India. See, but the French government, it did not ratify it immediately. In 1956, proposal was happened. Then what happened? In 1962, French government gave away Pondicherry to Indian government. Okay, so see the timeline, notice the timeline from 1956 to 62. Okay, till 1962, Pondicherry was with French government. Okay, after 1962, Indian government included it as a union territory of India. Okay, getting my point? In 1962, it was ratified. Then Pondicherry became the union territory of India. Getting my point? See, now link it to the first class, link it to the basics. I already explained you what are union territories, why are union territories formed. Okay, so please write your answer in the comment box that why was Pondicherry made a union territory, why not a state. Okay, I hope Article 2 is clear. What is Article 2 all about? It grants power to the Parliament to admit new states into Union of India. Okay, which means we saw the example that we are taking foreign territory and including it in Union of India. I gave you an example of Pondicherry. Okay, and also about the Sikkim. Alright, also about Sikkim. I hope Article 2 is now clear. Okay, let's move forward to Article 3 of our Indian Constitution. What is Article 3 all about? What is the definition of Article 3? Formation of new states. Okay, and alteration of areas or boundaries or naming of the existing states. Okay, Getting my point? This is Article 3 of our Indian Constitution. Okay. Article 3, it simply authorizes the Parliament to form a new state by separation of a territory, okay, or by uniting two states. Getting my point? That means two states can be combined into a single state, or a single state can be divided into two states. And also Parliament, it can increase or decrease the area of the state, okay, or else the Parliament, it can also rename the state, okay. All of this, it can be done by the Parliament by Article 3 of our Indian Constitution, okay. Let's understand this Article 3 with one example, okay. Let's take an hypothetical case of Madhya Pradesh, okay. Here I have shown you the map of Madhya Pradesh. Please focus on the map, okay. Suppose this is just a hypothetical case, okay. There is a plan to divide Madhya Pradesh, okay. There is a plan to bifurcate Madhya Pradesh, okay. So what will be the procedure? What will be the procedure for bifurcation? First, the president, he will recommend the division of the state, okay, and then he will send a bill to reorganize the state, okay. What is a bill? Bill is nothing but a set of proposals, okay. And what is the proposal now about? The proposal is to bifurcate the state of Madhya Pradesh, okay. Now what will the president do? He will send that bill to the Madhya Pradesh legislature, the state legislature, okay. Then the state legislature will sit and debate on it, okay. After the debate, they will pass a resolution, okay. Now please listen carefully. This resolution, it can be in favor of the bill or it can be against the bill, okay. After the state legislature gives its opinion to the president, he can do two things. He can either reject their resolution, or he can accept the resolution or the opinion, okay. Now what will he do? Later what will president do? President, he will send this bill to the Parliament irrespective of the state legislature's decision, okay. See, the president, these are the powers of president, okay. Now what is the case about? The case is all about to bifurcate the state of Madhya Pradesh. President will recommend the bill, okay, and the bill to reorganize the state, it will be passed to the state legislature, the Madhya Pradesh state legislature. After the debate, okay, after the resolution or after the state's opinion, state legislature's opinion, the president, he can either reject it or he can either accept their opinion. Getting my point? Okay. Then after this, the president, he will send this bill to the Parliament irrespective of the state's decision. Okay. Now both the houses of the Parliament, they will sit and they will vote on it. Okay. Now this voting, it can be against the bill or it can be in favor of the bill. Okay. Suppose if the Parliament has voted, both the lower house and the upper house, they have voted, they have casted their vote, okay. And if the bill with simple majority, it is passed, then what will happen? If the bill has gained a simple majority, then what will happen? The bill, it is said to be passed, and now Madhya Pradesh, it is all set to be divided into two states. It is all set for bifurcation, okay. Then finally, the president, he will sign the bill, okay, and the bifurcation is done. Getting my point? The president, he can simply have the mere opinion of the state. Okay, president is not bound by anybody. He will just ask for the opinion of the state legislature. Getting my point? This was a hypothetical case to understand Article 3. Okay, that is bifurcation. Okay, or see, we will see one real case under Article 3. To justify Article 3, I will tell you one real example this time. Let's understand this Article 3 with one real example. This real example is about Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Okay, you all know Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated in the year 2014 and Telangana was a newly formed state. Okay, there was the demand of people of Andhra Pradesh for a new state. Okay, few people, they wanted a separate state, but the locals of Andhra Pradesh, they wanted a single state. They did not want to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh. What happened? The UPA government, led by Congress, it wanted to meet the aspirations of people and they decided to bifurcate the state. Okay. Now what do you think happened next? Obviously the same procedure again. President gave his recommendation for the bill suggesting the bifurcation of the state. Okay. Then the bill, it was passed in AP legislature. Okay. Getting my point. But the opinion of the state was against bifurcation. The opinion of Andhra Pradesh was against bifurcation. As I told you already, president is not bound by anyone. Okay. So he was simply having the mere opinion of the state. Okay. Getting my point. But interesting thing, what happened, what we need to notice it, president, he did not hesitate. He introduced the bill in the parliament. Okay. The parliament gave approval and the bill was passed. Okay, the Reorganization of Telangana Act of 2014 was set. Okay, Andhra Pradesh was divided into 2 states. Okay, the newly formed state was Telangana. This is all about Article 3 of our Indian Constitution. What is Article 3? It authorizes the parliament to form a new state by separation of a territory. Okay, okay, getting my point. Or by uniting 2 states. Getting my point. You can either bifurcate or you can also unite. This is all about Article 3. Formation of new states, alteration of areas, boundaries, or changing the name of existing states. I hope this is clear. Article 3 is clear. Okay. Let's move forward to Article 4. What is Article 4 of our Indian Constitution? Laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 for the amendment of 1st and 4th schedules on supplemental, incidental and consequential matters. This is the political definition of Article 4. Okay, I'll break it down for you. It simply means that, it simply states that laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 shall not be considered for constitutional amendment under Article 368. Okay, it means that amendment to the Constitution, it needs a special majority. Okay. It means, what is the majority I am talking about? It means 50% of the members should vote for the amendment. Besides 50%, 2/3 of present day voting is also required for the constitutional amendment. Okay, for the amendment we need the consent of 50% states. Okay, मतलब जितने states इंडिया में होंगे उनमें से 50% states का consent हमें चाहिए. Okay, besides this, we also need 2/3 of present day voting. Okay, if the criteria is matched, okay, then constitutional amendment will take place. Okay, getting my point? See, this is laid down in Schedule 4 of our Indian Constitution. Okay, the aspect related to Article 4. Getting my point? See, we saw what was the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. Okay. A united Andhra Pradesh, it had 18 seats in Rajya Sabha. Okay. So when Andhra Pradesh, it was divided into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, obviously the number of seats in Rajya Sabha, it will get reduced. Right. So after the bifurcation, Telangana was given 7 states and Andhra Pradesh was given 11 states. Okay. This is an example to understand Article 4. Okay. Now to change the representation of states in Rajya Sabha, you need an amendment. Okay. So for amendment, what is the procedure? 50% consent of states and 2/3 of present day voting. Getting my point? This is all about Article 4 of our Indian Constitution. Okay. Earlier I showed you what are the 3 categories. 3 categories of territories of states, union states and territories which can be acquired by government at any point. Okay. We have covered about states. We have seen the procedure of states. We have seen the procedure of union territories. Pondicherry का example दिया था मैंने. Now we will study territories which can be acquired by government at any point of time. See here, this third category we will discuss now. Territories which can be acquired by government at any point of time. Okay. Now see. Now we will talk what is the procedure if we have to give our territory to someone else. What are the changes that need to take place? Okay. What are the changes that need to be made in the constitution for this act to be passed? Okay. Let's understand this with an example of Berubari case. Okay. The Berubari case, what happened when India was divided into India and Pakistan. Pakistan then had West Pakistan and East Pakistan. East Pakistan is today's Bangladesh. Okay, East Pakistan was further declared as Bangladesh. Please write it down in the comment box in which year Bangladesh it became an independent country. Okay, in which year Bangladesh was formed. Okay, so what happened in this Berubari case? The Indo-Pak boundary, it was made by the Boundary Commission. Okay, and this Boundary Commission, it was headed by the Radcliffe. Okay, that is why India-Pakistan boundary is also known as Radcliffe boundary. Okay, Radcliffe, when he divided India and Pakistan, in West Bengal there were issues. Okay, why particularly West Bengal? Bangladesh का neighbor क्या है? Neighboring states कौन से है बांग्लादेश के? West Bengal and Assam. Okay, so क्या हो रहा था? West Bengal में थोड़े disputes थे. What were the issues about? Okay, India, it had few enclaves which were part of Bangladesh. Okay, and Bangladesh, it had few enclaves which were part of India. Okay, just a minute, I will draw a diagram. Okay, suppose this is Bangladesh. Okay, getting my point. This is Bangladesh. Okay, please mind my writing. Just a minute. This is Bangladesh and yes, this is West Bengal. No, wait a minute. Okay, this is West Bengal and this is somewhere here, Assam. Okay, these are the neighboring states of Bangladesh. Okay, so what happened? What happened was, see here, Bangladesh, it had few enclaves of India here, and India, it had few enclaves of Bangladesh. Okay, so issues were going on about these enclaves. Okay, so what happened? What happened? There was an agreement. Okay, there was an agreement between Indian government and Pakistan government for exchange of those enclaves. Okay, so what happened? President, he sent a bill to the West Bengal legislature, but what happened was West Bengal legislature, it rejected the bill. Okay, the president, under his powers, he represented the same matter to the Supreme Court, where Supreme Court delivered a verdict that for constitutional amendment, okay, to what do you say, to exchange this territories, to exchange these enclaves, you need constitutional amendment. Okay, getting my point? Because you are giving part of India to a foreign country. Okay, so the government, the then government, it did not act on it immediately. Okay, ultimately it was left out, and the NDA government, led by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, under the 100th Constitutional Amendment Act, they passed a bill through which the enclaves of India, they were given to Bangladesh, and the enclaves of Bangladesh, they were given to India. Okay, and the people who were living there on the boundaries, they were given a choice whether to live in Bangladesh or to come and reside in India. Okay, getting my point? This is all about Berubari case. This is the procedure. Okay, this is the procedure you need to follow if you want to give away your territory to any foreign country. Okay, in this lecture, we have covered part 1 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with territory of India, formation of states, alteration of names and areas of existing states. Okay, we have also seen territories of states, the union states, and the territories which can be acquired by government at any point of time. Okay, this was all about part 1 of our Indian Constitution. In our next class, we will be dealing with part 2 of our Indian Constitutions. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Please share it with your friends, subscribe, and do not forget to hit the like button. Also, if you want any further information about more lectures on any subject, I'll add the number in description. Please check the number and you can text to that number at any time. I'll also send my number. I'll also add my number. If you have any doubts regarding any subjects, you can contact me there. Okay, we'll meet in our next session. Till then, keep working. Jai Hind.